I wanted to express a huge amount of gratitude for our colleague, Dr. Marissa Palmer, who her bravery is to be commended. In California, she has taken the animal chiropractic path and is doing her utmost to attempt to make it so that legislators can see the value of animal chiropractic in their communities. And in her plight, why does it always ding while I'm in the middle of a live? That's so annoying. I have to do these at 4 a.m. or something, and it would probably still ding. That was not gratitude. I'm so grateful somebody's trying to contact me. What does that mean for me? It means somebody's got a Black Friday sale that I'm missing out on because I do not care. And I'm grateful that I do not care. So for Dr. Palmer, she has been courageous in trying to change the laws in California so that chiropractors who are animal chiropractic trained can have greater freedom to help animal patients. And in her testimony, she brought in some amazing speakers to help with her testimony. She brought in a past president from the A.C.E.S and the incoming president from the A.C.E.S to explain what A.C.E.S, the American Veterinary Chiropractic Association, does in terms of oversight and regulation for animal chiropractors, which, to the chagrin of the doctor who came in from UC Davis, they proved her incorrect before she even spoke. And I felt bad for her because she came in ill-prepared to combat, or, whatever the universities are trying to do to be against animal chiropractors. And the problem is she came in ill-prepared, and then Dr. I don't remember his name, maybe Rode, who's probably one of the biggest veterinary clinics in the area. I'm going to guess he inherited that from his father. I'm going to guess he's never had to build a practice. I'm going to guess that he just walked into it and took over one day because he went to school, got an MBA, learned how to do business. That's what tends to happen with those kinds of clinics. I'll speak about that in a minute. But one of the biggest things is that the doctor from UC Davis hadn't done her research. She had not educated herself about what the education for animal chiropractic looks like. She came in saying it's a 1-week course, a 1-weekend course. They don't have any A.C.E., things that are all not true about animal chiropractic. And then he came in to tell us about the doctor who took a course in Florida, but she's a veterinarian, so I don't have to monitor her because she's a veterinarian. And that's why he lets her in his practice. Here's the point. What he showed us was it's inconvenient for veterinarians to have to monitor animal chiropractors in their clinic. It is a disturbance in their time and their routine care for their patients and their everyday routine. And having them have to be inside the clinic is a problem. The other thing that was a problem for him is this. The course his doctor took has no CE. The course his doctor took is a certificate course. It's not a certification course. And what makes it different from the 5 other schools that are approved by the A.C.E.S, and this is the part that perhaps no one explained to these doctors. There are 5 schools that are approved by the AVCA to prepare doctors for the AVCA exam, A.C.E.S, that happens once a year every September. It is like a board exam. But the other part that those 2 veterinarians who testified really got wrong was that they kept going back to, you got to know the musculoskeletal system. What they failed to realize is that chiropractic is not about the musculoskeletal system. Chiropractic is about the nervous system. The nervous system is the response mechanism in the body. It is the part of the body that creates the response to the environment. And it responds appropriately every single time. And what chiropractic does, what animal chiropractic allows these animals to do, is to respond more effectively and more appropriately to that surrounds them in a way that allows them to manage their behavior. It helps them to manage their internal organs. It helps them to manage what is coming at them. It helps them to manage the things that veterinarians put inside the body. And what do veterinarians put inside the body of those animals? Pain medications was a big topic. And my question here is, how do those doctors determine the animals in pain? How do they determine that an animal needs to go home on 3 pain medications and a steroid? It's not unusual for patients to show up at our clinic on 3 pain medications and a steroid because none of them are specific. They're all global pharmaceuticals that the doctor is hoping that they address something with. And quite honestly, a big part of the conversation last night was, we have to make sure we get the right diagnosis. Well, dude, I got to say this. In a real world where gravity works all day long, about half of the diagnoses that are made in veterinary medicine about animals not being able to function, move, or have mobility like they should are wrong. Veterinary medicine fails to see the effects of gravity. The effects of gravity are constant. They are on every single being. They are on every animal. They are on every entity. And they affect everything on the list. Behavior, nutrition, mobility. They affect every single thing. Reproduction. And when gravity is affecting the body that way, then those animals have a much more difficult time to move, to function. And so, that's interesting. And so, some blue. And so, these are some of the things that those doctors who came in to rebuttal the conversation about animal chiropractors being able to have gatekeeping authority failed to do. They also brought in that they can use the EPA, veterinary, I forget what they call it. It's basically a veterinary technician to do a lot of things that they think an animal chiropractor does. And in that case, guys, a veterinary technician does not understand the nervous system any better than you do. And it was pretty obvious to me that they don't understand the nervous system. And so I applaud them showing up for the hearing. I think that was noble of them to come in. And here's what I say. For the next hearing, I want them to bring in a veterinarian who's a rural veterinarian in California who's solo, who has not been able to hire an associate for the last 5 years, who is working 80 hours a week and still struggling to pay the bills. And those are the doctors who animal chiropractic helps them to survive and thrive. If you're a veterinarian or a chiropractor in any state, and you want to be at the ground level, at the foundation of some new things that are happening in animal chiropractic, find us today at animalchiropracticeducation.com, where we train veterinarians and chiropractors just like you who are burned out and overwhelmed. And we also train animal chiropractors who are in a pickle, like Dr. Palmer, how to produce or have a functional, successful animal chiropractic practice. Find us today at animalchiropracticeducation.com.